That's how we do questions and answers. That's how we do questions and answers in our Q&A. And so also, very important, I'm giving you a very special offer to connect with me personally in an intimate setting, meaning there's typically less than 5 people in this session. It's just you, a few others, and myself. Will go into your goals. What is it that you want to achieve? Any obstacles you see standing in the way, and we can see if we're a good fit for you to go further beyond the full body fix. And of course, if you're an ideal person for us and the things you want to achieve, more important, are ideal for us. One thing that I like to do in terms of our clients, our VIP clients that we have after the full body fix, is I don't really accept people unless I'm certain, guaranteed that I'm going to be able to deliver to you what you're after, and that my world-class team can deliver on exactly what that is that you're after, and that we have a perfect alignment. That it's all about you, or semi-private consult with me, is no charge. I am extending to you that at no charge, but I would just ask to make sure that it's something that you think might fit in your budget, fit in your schedule, fit in your life, and is really something that you'd want to do. I just ask of you of that. I'll extend my time to you, but I just ask that you think about it like that. So with that being said, let's go on to questions. And our first question asker is Tom. So welcome, Tom.
Thanks, Robbie. I have I'll call it mild, maybe heading towards moderate scoliosis in the spine. So I'm wondering what that implies for the exercises and the training that you just showed us.
Yeah, scoliosis is interesting. There's a frontal plane, which is side to side misalignment. And we talked a lot about sagittal plane alignment, but we also talked about frontal plane alignment, especially with the pelvis and getting the hips proper positioned. So the thing that's really interesting is when we have one area of the body that's out of alignment a little bit, such as scoliosis, it could be severe. Hopefully, is yours severe, moderate, mild?
I would say mild to moderate.
Okay. So, with it being mild to moderate, then it can affect your hip alignment, and then the hips start going into that position. Well, when you get better alignment throughout, that can help. If it's mild to moderate, it can help make it mild, right? It can help make it less of an issue, which creates less joint degeneration over time and less leading in, of course, degeneration of the joints leads to arthritis. That's actually what arthritis is. So the more aligned you are, the less speed that you'll have in terms of acquiring arthritis in your body, right? That and some other physiological factors, but the mechanics and having that alignment will absolutely help you with scoliosis. So again, the big thing for you is pelvis level, that hip, knee, and foot aligned when you're going upstairs and doing different activities like that. Having the pelvis neutral is really crucial because when you get off in one direction, then the body wants to start tilting and going off in other directions. Just like any mechanical structure, once it starts to lean one way, and then it starts to have more force and pull into other misaligned positions. So yeah, it's crucial. Okay. When you have issues like that, it's even more crucial to really work your body alignment.
Okay, terrific. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Glen, hello, Glen. You're up next with me, my friend.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yep, I can. Well,
okay. My name is Glen. I'm 83 years old. I basically walk 2 miles a day, bike 50 miles a week, play pickleball 10 hours a day, swim 50 meters a week. And I think I'm in great condition, but I have a sciatic problem. I've tried to work it out at times. When I play real competitive pickleball, high level is 5. I'm still a 4-5 level. And I bend down sometimes, and the sciatic bothers me a little bit. It takes a while to heal. I do my bridge exercises my chiropractor told me, and I've been watching you the last 3 sessions. And some of the stuff you did in the 3rd session, I do, but not to the extent of what you showed, and I was really appreciative. I've learned it. I'm going to concentrate on it. but I don't know about the sciatic. People are telling me you got to live with it.
I would say that's definitely not true. Wherever you're at before you meet us, there's definite improvement. I've never seen anybody not have improvement, right? So, how far, depending on how extreme and what kind of issues you're dealing with at the time, I've never seen anyone not have significant improvement. So, yeah, sciatica has to do with primarily, usually the piriformis, so the tissue of the piriformis, which is an external rotator that runs laterally across your glute, clamps down on the sciatic nerve, and then pinching that sciatic nerve sends pain trickling down the back of the leg and through the hip area. So by either strengthening or depending on your specific situation, mobilizing that tissue and the external rotators of the hip makes a big difference. And what we did in last session, in the hip session, looking at your internal and external hip rotation and seeing if you have any deficiencies in that area, that's a large part of it. And then doing exercises specifically to mobilize and strengthen that area. Because this is the way it works. If the tissue is just restricted and it's taut, of course, it's shortened so it can put pressure because it's tight. But the other thing that happens is a weakness when your body feels unstable. If I give you a heavy weight, we talked about this in the last session, but if I give you a heavy weight, what are you going to do? You're going to bring it close to your body. Why? Because it's much more stable. So you're not going to stay holding it out here. Well, the way that relates to muscles is when the body feels unstable, it's going to shorten, it's going to contract, it's going to clamp down, and that's going to make you feel more stiff. So for the example of the piriformis, if it's unstable or there's things going on with your mechanics to feel unstable, it's going to shorten, therefore clamping down on the sciatic nerve. So if you get in good alignment, train with good alignment, then your body will feel less need to muscle guard or to shorten. And if you do the right mobility exercise, it will mobilize that tissue, therefore decreasing the pressure that's placed on the sciatic nerve. So yeah, and a lot of that I teach in the full body fix, exactly what to do between last session, of course, when we talked about hips. And then further, as a VIP client, we go really deep into that. I show you how to measure to the exact degrees, and my team really figures that out for you. So,
well, I don't know if you go on positioning, what you talked about, it was very helpful, but I've noticed that my muscle mass has decreased considerably, and I do weights 3 times a week, but it doesn't seem like I'm increasing my weightage or my reps for some reason. But I had some ligament tears in my back shoulder up in industrial accidents when I was working. And so I've been working on that too. So I don't know if you have a program for proper weighting, weight exercises, or just whatever I can continue on with you.
Yeah, we do it all. We do mobility training, strength training. Yeah, and the full body fix, right? Because we're all in a new relationship here. Okay. So right. What I'm doing is I'm teaching you and kind of leading you in and giving you lots of things to think about and giving you actionable items that you can start using right away. But in our VIP client system, where we train our clients 4 times per week at multiple times of the day, so it works in your schedule. We go very deep into strength training, conditioning training, mobility training, measuring all of your joint ranges and body ranges of motion and body alignment to the actual degree, and then giving you customized mobility training for that as well. So yeah, we cover all of it, all of the types of training, including strength.
So my last question would be then, are these training sessions available on a DVD?
Which ones?
The muscle weight training.
Yeah, well, we do this. We have an app. So we have a fitness doctor app.
Okay.
And we have a full on live training structure. So instead of you watching us, we're actually watching you. So in that structure, you're training, I'm guiding you through the session. But then my elite team is watching you, and we actually video record our clients, and where you're having misalignments or you need to improve things, we send you a private message with the video view, giving you specific coaching on how to improve and align your body. And we do that up to 4 times a week. So you can choose how many times you want to attend, but there's up to 4 times a week.
Well, thank you very much. I'm enjoying the session so far, and I'm looking forward to 4 and 5. Thank you again.
Awesome. Yeah, you're very welcome, Glenn. And Glenn, if that you want to learn more and connect with me on that, go ahead and click on that link that Patricia's dropped in the chat, and
Okay.
we can chat more there.
I don't have any time left today, but I will definitely do that. Thank you.
Great. You're welcome. Yeah, and it's not today, it would be tomorrow. We have multiple times tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Buddy, hello, Buddy. Welcome.
Can you hear me at all?
I can. Yes, can hear you perfect.
That's amazing. Something actually worked. I'm really bad on computer issues. All right. So if you can hear me, I can hear you, then I can continue. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got the camera part working. I'm pretty sure all my issues are in the pelvis area. If I try to sit cross-legged, like an Indian, you might say, that's what I call it. I have extreme pain, extreme to the point where it's extremely uncomfortable in the right hip, just the right side. Had this for 20 years, as long as I can remember. As a result, probably of that I've had probably my whole life, I have disc problems in the lower back. L3 and 4 disc narrowing and some herniation. L4 and 5 also disc narrowing. My feet are good. I do have one bunion. Knees are good. 74, 5'10", 150 pounds, good shape. Do anything I want. I have some lower back pain. The more I do, the more lower back pain I get. I can tell it's gradually getting worse. I think if I can ever solve this right hip pain, it's going to be a major change in my issues. And that's pretty much my only issues. I realized hips were in the last session, not this session. You still with me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah.
Pretty much all I would say. So I guess the issue is from what you taught us last time about does that sound like hip extensors or hip flexors issues?
Well, that's a really hard thing to say, because when you have, we can figure it out. It's not hard for us to figure it out. It's hard to be looking at you on no video camera and only hearing you and then telling you, oh, it's your hip flexor, right? That's just right. Because you sit Indian style and you have pain. It could be a multitude of things. It can be impinged nerve in your back, and improving back alignment can help decrease the impingement on the nerve, which is then triggering pain in the hip. The other big thing that happens, especially when you've had pain like over a long period of time, that it can actually be related to psychology and emotions and that type of connection as well. So what is interesting is also can be mechanical. So by working on the mechanical alignment and processing through kind of like yoga, except for the one problem I have with yoga is not specific to the individual. So yoga is awesome. It's really meditative. It's a physical meditation. Is wonderful. But what it doesn't do is look at where the specific degrees of mobility restrictions are, and targeting those areas with the physical meditation process. So one of the things we teach is how to do that. So for example, we need to see exactly where you have deficiency in range of motion, for example, internal, external rotation, lateral, lumbar, spinal flexion. We need to measure and look at all of these things. And then where we find deficiencies, then we can improve that area. We also need to look at and see, how do you load your body? How do you load your pelvis? In other words, when you do squats, lunges, get out of a chair, do sit, the positioning of your pelvis, all these things, we need to see what is the alignment and position you're taking. So what is your motor control of your body motion? And when we look at all those things, then we're able to, okay, then we can find where the deficiencies are, right? So and we do that type of thing in our VIP training system.
So as a starting point, is there no single suggestion you can give me as a starting point to see if I'm even in the right ballpark?
Yeah,
I'm
I would
convinced
do,
this
I would
muscle
watch,
tightness on the right side.
I would watch session 2 again, and I would look at your internal and external hip rotation. That's a great place to start. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And see where you have deficiency. If you have where you have deficiency, working on mobilizing that area, which I match up the exercises to the restrictions in that session, that will help you. Yeah.
Gotcha, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hello, Keith. Welcome. You're still muted. I sent you a link to unmute.
Okay. Actually, it's Helen. My laptop wasn't working, so I had to use my speak.
Okay.
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 Thank you so
That
much.
makes more sense.
Yeah, thank you so much for the sessions. I'm really enjoying them, but I'm having to edge my way in very, very gradually because I have pretty chronic back pain and knee pain. But the one very specific question was, I have to lie on my left-hand side when I'm sleeping. It's the only position I find comfortable. And if I lie on my back, which is physically more comfortable, I snore and it wakes me up. So I cannot sleep on my back. So given I have to sleep on my left-hand side, is there any way of kind of reducing the adverse effects of having to lie in that position? Or have you any tips for how I can lie on my back without actually snoring and then waking myself up?
Yeah. Have you ever tried, do you know what mouth taping is?
Yeah. It's actually more in my nose, I think, actually, or in my throat, actually. It kind of feels like it's a bit of a choking at the back of my throat, actually. But I haven't actually tried the mouth taping, so I could.
Yeah, I would suggest, and for those of you listening, so basically it's crucial that we breathe through our nose. There's many health benefits that come by having good nose breathing, especially in the inhalation part of breathing. And so when you sleep, and this is not right for everybody, okay, so you want to check with your doctor, but if you really have some pulmonary issues, breathing issues, big time, and not a good idea to do this, so check with your doctor. But with that being said, if you use mouth tape and you make it just simple, like I use, there's special tape they sell for doing this, but you tape your mouth and that forces you basically to breathe through your nose. And breathing through your nose over time, you'll start breathing better and better through your nose from just like training exercise. You're going to get better at breathing through your nose. And usually, not always, that will at least significantly decrease snoring. And it actually, you get deeper sleep and you'll actually produce more nitric oxide, which the nasal passage actually leads to increased nitric oxide, which increase the blood vessel dilation. So you're having better blood flow. You end up changing the amount of water that your water flow in your body, so that you don't have to go to the bathroom as much in the middle of the night, so it doesn't wake you up. All those things can actually improve from breathing through your nose while sleeping. So all from mouth taping. Yeah.
But if I have to, until I manage to achieve that, and I have to lie on my left-hand side, is there any way of reducing the adverse effects of that? In terms of whether pillows, the supportive pillows, or ensuring that my pelvis is completely level, because I do know that I hike when you lie on the left-hand side, you tend to hike that hip up on that side. And that, interestingly, that's where I have my sore knee. So I'm sure that's not helping that. So
that's the problem. That's the problem with sleeping on the side. Exactly. Yeah. So what you would do is, just like I show in today's session with Keith, I've shown the pelvis neutral. You'd want to think about that when laying on your side. So you don't have one side of your pelvis. You don't have one side of your pelvis really long and one side short. You want to lay where both are even, and then you're laying down with them even. So you're not going long long here and short here, right? So that's a big thing that you want to look at, and then use a knee. It sounds like you're already doing this, but put a pillow between your legs.
Yeah.
So that you don't have as much pull in the hip, and then change of the alignment in the hip. And then make sure that your head is supported to where your cervical spine is neutral. So that you're not like this or nor like this. You want to have your cervical spine neutral.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hello, Kay. Hello. You're up next, my friend.
Okay, thank you. My main problem is with,
Oh, I'm sorry, Kay. I'm very much, there we go.
now
Okay.
I'm unmuted, okay?
Yeah,
My main problem is with pelvic pain, sciatica, and extreme stiffness after car rides of even an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's something about driving and sitting in the car seat. I guess it's raising my right hip. I don't know. I had back surgery about 20 years ago, and I've been very proactive about learning how to keep a neutral spine and strong abs and so forth. But something about riding in the car just totally messes me up. And I don't know, I can't replace my car seat. I don't know how to address that.
Yeah, the best thing you can do, and so you feel the issue mostly in your hip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially my right hip.
The best thing to do, of course, which I think you already mentioned, is to have your pelvis neutral. Having your pelvis neutral, another thing that really helps, and this is a really helpful thing. There's a very simple thing that's made a huge difference for a lot of people, and that is you want to take your rear view mirror and adjust it so that if you're having poor posture, you're not going to be able to see in your rear view mirror. You want to adjust your rear view mirror. So you can only see well through your rear view mirror when you have very good posture. So you get neutral pelvis, you get your thoracic spine aligned, get everything perfect, just like I'm talking about in these sessions. Then you adjust your rear view mirror. And what will happen is every time you go to use it, it's going to remind you for good posture. And that'll be a neurological retraining process for better posture.
Okay.
So I highly suggest that is one really very helpful tip. Neutral pelvis. And then, sometimes the pain in the hip is not actually in the hip. It's coming from the spine and impingement and tightness in low back musculature. So another thing that you can do is use like a lacrosse ball. So a ball like this.
I've got one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can put it in your low back and kind of roll your lower back when driving. Sometimes just having that motion and movement can also help not staying in that static position, which oftentimes increases pain and stiffness. So doing that can also help you. But the underlying factors, of course, right? So that's specific to the car riding position. But the other underlying factors, of course, going back to the degrees of rotation of internal and external hip rotation, the pelvic positioning, how you're using your muscles throughout the day, the positions you're sleeping in, and all these type of things. Because if you're sleeping in a misaligned position, if you're exercising in a misaligned position, and even if you're in a decent position while in the car because you're thinking about it, those other things from your daily life are going to contribute negativities, if you will, to that car position, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the body alignment throughout the day affects everything, right? Including the car ride position. In fact, just last week, I had one of our VIPs in our training system just tell me, and she's about 65 years old. So she went on like a 9-hour car ride, 65 years old. She had exactly what you have, what you just shared. And she said she's able to do the whole 9-hour car ride and feel kind of like a kid when she's done. And because of, and here she is, Jean. I promise I didn't set this up either. She just turned on her camera. Welcome, Jean. Tell us.
Hi. I'm in this. Robbie did not set me up. I'm in this. This because my husband wanted to see it. But what I just want to tell Kay that before I just started taking the, full body fitness, become a VIP member since last end of November. Okay. And before that, when we would go on long car rides, and by the way, I'm 75, not 65, we would, I would need to stretch every 2 hours.
You look so young. You look so young, Jean. I would never.
You do, Jean. I am a little shocked.
So anyway, I would need to stretch and do all sorts of things. Okay. And this was, last year. And then since I took this fitness class, I think Robbie is doing your whole body. Okay. So every time he tweaks a little here, tweaks a little there, he gives us feedback on WhatsApp, what we need to improve on. So anyway, to make a long story short, my husband and I just returned from South Florida, which is a 2 long day drive, like 8-9 hours. Okay. And we drive straight through, just stopping for gas or restroom. And so we're sitting in the car for 8-9 hours for 2 days straight. And afterward, I said, hey, I get out, go to the bathroom, come back in. I don't feel anything. I feel, I don't feel any stiffness or anything. So I said, it must be because of this fitness thing that I've been doing with Robbie, when you don't even know it, that he's tweaking all these little things. And so anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you for the testimonial. So one last question. One leg is reaching forward to the gas pedal and the brake. Should I try to sit with the other leg forward, like in between, where I can put it up there so that I don't have that imbalance going, with both legs stretched out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, in longer car rides, if you can use cruise control, then that way you can get your legs and everything even, so you don't have one leg reaching, which is misaligning your pelvis and your spine. Yeah, that's really helpful as well. Yeah.
Okay.
That's huge.
It's just a bad place to be.
Yeah, it's a really good point you brought up. That makes a major difference. Yeah, usually in the world where we're driving on the right side of the road, most people's right calf is a little bit more developed from using the accelerator, especially in areas like where we have everyone's driving. So yeah, it really makes mechanical differences, the reaching with that right leg. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions in today's Q&A of session 3? Yes. Hopefully I pronounce your Rups. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Hi there, it's hi Robbie, it's short for Rupesh, so Roops will do.
Roops.
Hi. Yeah, just turning on my video. Hi there, hi. This is my first session. I actually registered yesterday and joined literally 15 minutes before you ended. And I already learned so much. So I'm just wondering, once I catch up with the replays, how awesome that's going to be. So thank you for that.
And just a quick point on that. 3 p.m. Mountain Time or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have we'll do this same session again. If you wanted to do it live with us, just so you know. But go ahead.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, my question actually was multifold, but to keep it relevant, I've seen multiple of conditions over the last 20 years, and I was wondering if you could tell me, are there any exercises from sessions 1 to what we'll be doing up to sessions 5? Are there any that I should avoid, or will performing all of the exercises in the program either help reverse the issues or at least develop some kind of muscle padding over these areas to decrease the level of nerve pain? And the conditions are basically things like plantar fasciitis, so foot issues, pain in the ankle, I've had ligament tears in the knee, in the shoulders, the arms, rotator cuff tears, issues with my L4 and L5 region after car accident 10 years ago, and pelvic myoneuropathy, amongst other issues relating to spinal arthritis. So that's quite a mouthful, as well as a number of conditions, as you can see. But my willpower is there to actually push through if necessary, even though in the past physiotherapies have always told me, no, you can't lift weights anymore to this degree, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. And it kind of diminishes your motivation and will to think, well, what's there left out there except all these light, boring exercises, which just don't motivate me to continue. So yes, your input there, I'd really appreciate.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And it's actually beneficial to everybody, because how you have a shoulder and foot and hip and back, and someone has something close by you, right? So what let's just go back down to the root. Let's like forget the specifics and the pelvis. What do we, because here's the thing, is the complicated part is every part, like shoulder. Well, the details are going to be totally different than the foot. But the foundation of this is this: your body, all of us have a very ideal way that we should move, that the joint mechanics will stay in best alignment to not have shearing or grinding stress. And also, just like the immune system checks for foreign invaders, that's the immune system's job, the nervous system checks for misalignments and instabilities, and threats and pain and all kinds of stuff, right? And so when it finds those misalignments, and it'll often muscle guard and create more stiffness, and it'll almost add to the misalignment by trying to guard your body from the trauma, right? So what we're really doing, regardless of the area, is we're teaching you how to function in your most aligned position to save the joint, to decrease the amount of degeneration that happens in the body, and function and performance wise, so that when you push a weight or pull a weight or stand up or whatever, no matter what the body motion is that you have the greatest amount of force and efficiency in the movement that you're trying to do. Because what happens is the force will get lost in the joint. The force will literally stop in the joint. Like from what I showed today, if your hip is shifted out, the force can't travel through an unstable structure. So it actually attenuate and cause strain at the joint, strain at your foot, causing plantar fasciitis, all these things. So when we start to align the body, not only do we save it from the degeneration and the aging, but we also start to create a greater athleticism and function. So there's always a way for you to be able to improve. It just matters of where should you start. And where you should start is first understanding the motor control of body alignment, and then slowly adding different levels of progression of different types of exercise to increase strength, to increase mobility, increase this function. But, don't worry about like, well, how far, what type of exercise. Worry about finding that right place to start and then being consistent. And I promise you, you'll get to your exercises that can be high intensity. If you enjoy having more exertion type of exercise, then you'll find your pathway, but you need to focus on the total body function. And then you'll find your things that agree with you. For example, it might be doing bicycle sprints. Maybe that's the healthiest, safest way for you to do high intensity activity. Maybe it's on an elliptical, but you still need to do all the other functional stuff to have your overall body mechanics aligned with what I said in the first part of what I just shared. Does that kind of make sense in terms of a 10,000 foot view? So we optimize the mechanics, and then the details I'm starting to teach you in the full body fix. And where the awesomeness really happens is actually simpler movements that are almost therapeutic, and then building progressional levels onto that. And if you do an exercise right, like I've had many clients tell me this over the years, is I can make the most simplest exercise become the most difficult exercise, because of the level that we focus in the intent of the body positioning to use all the muscles in the ideal and proper way, right? So it's more about your mechanics and less about effort by itself, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I find it's the simpler ones that catch me out and make me a bit wobbly. So that's how I recognize that the foundations are so important. And I think a lot of us probably, well, I speak for myself, we try to go for the more complex stuff without getting the foundation right. And I think that's where I've gone wrong most of the time, in all humility and honesty. So yeah, starting right at the beginning is a good idea, but then at least there's some inspiration there, knowing that it can build up rather than being told you won't be able to do this forever and this is where you're at. That's it, you know, which is fair enough. And that's what's kind of caused a bit of sedentary lifestyle for me. And, you know, you can see the effects of that as well. The other question I wanted to ask you because it's about spinal alignment, my mattress and my pillow, I've changed them so many times, they're just not comfortable. Did you have any advice or kind of ideas on recommending the right type of mattress or pillows for people with certain types of neck alignment problems?
Yeah, so the cervical pillow where it just has a gentle curvature, right? A round curvature. That's a good thing to use for a period of time, especially if you have some cervical misalignments. And then also using, it really depends on where your neck is coming from. Okay, so the kind of standard rule of thumb is we all need a little curvature in our cervical spine. It's a good idea to sleep on your back with a cervical pillow that's encouraging that cervical alignment, relax the back of the neck and tuck the chin, right? That's really what you want in the cervical area. In terms of your back, in terms of mattresses, the unfortunate part is usually the great mattresses are not cheap at all. So for example, like I use a Tempur-Pedic. I have a Tempur-Pedic bed, which it costs $5,000. So like that's the one that I use. In terms of sleep mattresses and specifics, I highly suggest you check out the Sleep Doctor, Michael Bruce. The Sleep Doctor, he has awesome information on best mattresses, and he has an endless amount of blog information, and he can tell you all about mattresses and what options are best. And it's the Sleep Doctor. I think his website's thesleepdoctor.com. He's a friend of mine. Probably seen it. Well, actually, if you've came to session 1, you would have seen him in the beginning of session 1. So, but he would give you more specific on mattresses and all the details. Is not necessarily, I'm not a mattress expert. I am the body mechanics expert. And what I would share with you is the Tempur-Pedic bed is awesome, but I'd like you to have other options also. And the other options would be looking at the Sleep Doctor information.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for taking my questions.
Oh yeah, yeah, and you're very welcome. And I would love to help you with all those exercise progressions and bring your whole body into alignment. So if you feel it's a good fit for you, definitely schedule an It's All About You session or that semi-private consultation, which Patricia will drop the link again here in the chat.
When I go through sessions 1 to 3, are there any that you suggest I avoid, or shall I try them out and then give you feedback for you to then advise?
If you want a lot of advisement and feedback, you're going to have to become a VIP. Yeah.
No, what I mean is for the multiple conditions I've just asked you about, is there any exercises I should avoid doing when I watch the replays?
No, every exercise I give, for everything you
Alright.
share is totally safe for you. Use common sense, of course. Don't try to go too hard or too heavy or add a bunch of load to things I'm showing or do anything. If you do that, you're going to get yourself in trouble. But as long as if you do it in the way I'm actually teaching it, yeah, it's going to be excellent for you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Hello, Chris. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So today I was doing the exercises in front of the mirror, and I noticed on the lunges that it's like my back foot would be, so it's like instead of being totally parallel, it's like it would just bend a little bit this way, I think, for more stability or, for balance.
Oh, yeah, probably would turn. I mean, it's possible to go in, but and I think what you meant is, yeah, your back foot turns out. Yeah.
So should I be trying to, retrain my body for them to be completely straight forward?
Yes. Yeah. And it's less, When you first start doing it, it is less stable because, you know, and most people have spent years having the feet out, kind of a little more bound, but our hips are so much more aligned and the tissues are more towards their neutral position when our feet are straight in our knee. So our knee doesn't fall in as easily, because if your foot's going that way, right, and you kind of get in a habit of that and your knee's going this way, that's shear stress at the knee joint of it not staying a hinge joint. It's actually creating a shear grinding force, which is really common. And that's a large part of people's knee breakdown is that. So you do want to get in a habit of having your feet go straight. Doesn't mean you can never turn your feet out and it's like a danger zone. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's saying like you're walking, you're hiking, you're stepping, you're lunging, you know, stairs, all these things, feet straight, hip aligned, pelvis level, pelvis neutral, you know, thoracic spine extended, all of these things. That's what you want to train, because that's the ideal alignment that protects you from the breakdown and gives you the best force output and efficiency. So, and the simple fact is probably if your foot really wants to turn out, your calf or backside of your lower leg is tight or restricted. That's another thing that happens, because when we turn the foot out, like we talked about in session 1, when you turn the foot out, it enables you to not have to have as much calf, for simple terms, calf range of motion, right? Because your calf stretches. So if you just turn the foot out, you don't have to bend in the ankle as much. So, and then your body will make all these subconscious kind of adjustments to make up for lack of range of motion.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great questions.
Rob, I have
Yes.
a question in the chat from Donna. She says, could you please explain how your balance is affected when you're not aligned properly? How can I fix my balance when I have an air cast walking boot on my left foot, which is making me stand on different levels?
That's a tough one. Yeah, when you have a cast on, when you have the air boot on, that's very difficult, because you have to wear, you obviously had an injury to your lower leg or foot or ankle, and you have to wear your boot. I'm guessing your bone, you have maybe a broken bone or injured soft tissue, and doctors have decided that you need to have that fixed. In other words, staying in one position to heal. So during that time period, here's what you can do best. You can sit in great posture. You can lay down in great posture. You can try your best to align all the body, the upper body, the pelvis, everything else during the time that you are walking, right? You're aligning everything else the best you can, so that you're not making compensations throughout your whole body chain. Those are all the things that you can do. You can lay down on a foam roller. You can get your spine really aligned. You can put a weight on your right side and do like leg lifts and different stretching. So now you have the same exposure to the one side as you have to the other side. Those are all things you can do to help keep your body alignment while that air cast is on. Obviously that air cast is not going to stay on forever. So when it comes off, now you start getting open to the entry level of everything I'm showing you in the full body fix. That's the way you would approach that. Any other questions before we log off here from session 3 of the full body fix? Awesome. So it has been great connecting with you all. Very much have had a lot of fun here with you today, talking about my most passionate subject. And I know you've got a ton of value out of this. Now, make sure you come and see us for session 4 and session 5, and whatever you do, do not miss session 5. We have 3 times a day on Friday, 3 times in the day on Saturday to be able to attend the session. So don't miss it. Make sure you're registered. Come and see us, because I promise it will not disappoint. And again, if you feel that it's right for you, then definitely go ahead and schedule with me for it. It's all about you, semi-private consultation. Would love to see you there. Would love to connect with you, learn about how I can help you further. And I promise it'll be a great usage of your time. Much love to you. Make it an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. And we'll keep the meeting open for the links for at least another 10 minutes, just in case you want to reference links.